Really, if you get into anything in your life, you should have an exit strategy, not just like multifamily. That sounds like a good exit strategy and good business plan, but that's not how all things happen. And so your exit strategy may need to be adjusted a little bit to make it work. So maybe you're going in for a refi, but it makes sense to sell a whole lot earlier than you were expecting. Or maybe it doesn't make sense to sell at the 7 year mark and you want to hold it a couple more years just to get a little bit more equity into your pocket so that when you do sell, you can, well, hopefully more than break even, hopefully also get better returns than what you projected. But welcome to the Ironclad Underwriting Podcast, where precision meets performance in commercial real estate. I'm your host, Jason Williams, and every week we deep dive into the strategies and systems and stories behind rock-solid underwriting. Whether you're a seasoned analyst, an up-and-coming investor, or a commercial real estate professional looking to sharpen your edge, this show is your front row seat to expert insights, emerging trends, and real-world underwriting tactics that stand the test of time and scrutiny. From market assumptions to debt structuring, cap rates to cash flow, we're cutting through the noise and getting to the numbers that matter. So sharpen your pencils and fire up those models. Let's get to work. This is Ironclad Underwriting. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Ironclad Underwriting Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Williams. And like always, I'm here with my good friend and business partner, Frank Patalano. How are you doing, Frank?
Good, sir. It's nice and sunny outside, so after this, I'm gonna try to go get some exercise or something.
Cool. Yeah, we're starting to hit fall weather here in North Texas. It was down into the 40s yesterday. It was like 49.
Oh yeah, same here.
So starting to feel like fall. Of course, it gets up into the 80s, but oh well, what can you do? So this episode um wanted to discuss exit strategies. Really, if you get into anything in your life, you should have an exit strategy, not just like multifamily. My dad always told me did an exit strategy. Like if I'm investing stocks, it's like, all right, well, what are you going to sell at? It's like, well, I bought $1,000 worth of something. Are you just going to hold on to it forever, or are you gonna sell it? What if it drops 15-25%? Are you going to try and wait it out and hopefully it'll go back up, or do you cut your losses so you can invest in something else? Or what if it does go up? At what point do you sell? Do you sell when it like doubles, or if it keeps on the rise, or do you sell when it starts dropping after its climbs? I mean, there's a whole lot to do with stocks and exit strategies, but also I use exit strategies even like in my social life. If I go to a party or a networking event, and it's like, all right, who's going to be there, and how long do I want to stay? Do I want to look for a reason to get out, or do I close the place down? So, I mean, all that is an exit strategy. Sometimes, depending on the event, I might get a mysterious phone call and have to leave all of a sudden. Doesn't happen that often, but sometimes it does. All of those are exit strategies.
I'm just laughing about you giving real life, non-real estate, non-business exit strategies. So life itself, last time I checked, there's only one exit strategy. Obviously, most people want to extend their life as long as possible, but still, the whole concept. There's only one way out, so you know.
Yeah, I wasn't going that broad. I was more like specific. If I'm doing something, what's my purpose? What's my intention? What's my
Okay.
plan? And like going to a party, it's like, what's the purpose of the party? Is it just to have fun and get drunk? Okay, I can do that. If I'm going to a networking event, is it so I can meet new people and talk about something, or maybe someone specifically is going to be there that I want to talk about a specific project with? So then that would be an intention to do that too. And then after
Speaking about
that,
that, I was at a private social gathering last night, and at the bar they had one of your favorite alcoholic beverages. I did not peruse it, but they had Blanton.
yeah,
That's one of your favorites, isn't it?
I enjoy Blanton's. Yes,
Yeah, yeah, that's what I figured. Enough so that if you got a surprise, um, something mailed to you, you'd appreciate it.
definitely.
There you go.
So that's another story. My wife Angel had some bourbon mailed to her or UPS, and the package broke.
Oof.
And depending on your state, you can't mail hard liquor like that. And so we couldn't go and collect it. Otherwise, we would have gotten fined or whatever.
Interesting.
And the guy couldn't claim it on insurance. Otherwise, he would have gotten fined or whatever. So it was just like a lost package that didn't make it to where it was going.
Yeah, those darn state by state alcohol laws.
But I do know when I was in Kentucky, I was able to UPS back a whole bunch of snow globes, and they all made it back in one piece. So that was good,
There you go.
quote unquote snow globes, because they're made of glass and have liquid in them.
Oh, you're funny. You're funny. All right, so back to this exit strategies. I assume we're talking mostly real estate.
Yeah, I'm talking real estate. Um, there are, I mean, with residential stuff, you can do like a traditional fix and flip. Sometimes you want to do like a buy and hold. If you're planning on holding it and keeping it for generations, that's one exit strategy. It's like a exit strategy that's what your plan is. You're going to go in and you hold it forever. So really, there's no exit, but then your kids can have the exit or whoever you pass it on to or whatever. But if you
Well, if
do,
you buy if you put a piece of property under contract, I mean, there are a bunch of different exit strategies. One of them is you could wholesale it in most states, right?
yeah,
You could flip the contract. That's the shortest term. And then the next thing you could do is you could do a quick fix and flip. So a wholesale is usually like 30 days, sometimes less, sometimes more. Um, a fix and flip might be up to a year, right?
yeah, the people that I know who do them a lot, they try to keep them like 6 to 9 months, keep them
Yeah,
so they
3 to 6 months. Fannie Mae has like a 90-day rule and stuff like that. And I just said up to a year because if you're holding it more than a year, then you have different tax implications as well, and you're probably going to rent it if you're
yeah,
doing that.
yeah. Or if you're holding it a year and you're flipping it, fixing it up, you are like running really slow if you're not running it. You're
Right.
just throwing money away. So you try to do them as quick as you can. Now, granted, a lot of people first starting out who don't know what they're doing and think they can do it on their own, it might take a year to do a fix and flip. And
Well, especially if it's a heavier lift and they're doing it by themselves, especially if it's outside of the regular job.
yep, I know a lot of people who tried to do it after their job, so they would work from like 6 to midnight at a property, and they just would never get done. So that happens. Don't recommend it, but it does.
And then they're not valuing their time either because they're like, oh, I made a $30,000 profit. It's like, yeah, but you were just there for the last 6 months.
Yep.
You didn't figure that.
You're
So,
putting in 80 hours a week because you're going in after work and then you're working weekends as well. So I mean that's you're not valuing your time very much if you're doing it that way. So um let's see for multifamily, you have exit strategies. You can most I think exit strategy multifamily syndications rather you are holding the property about 3 to 7 years, 5 years on average.
yep.
And what you're trying to do is you're trying to increase the value of it. It's almost like a fix and flip, but it's a flip of apartment buildings over the course of 3 to 7 years. So that is a typical exit strategy where for syndications where you're going to go in, you're going to do a lot of value add components, you're going to increase your rents, you're going to increase the value of the property. Hopefully, you can do a refinance, get some of your equity out, put it into long term debt, hold it for a couple more years, and then exit it once you've made the returns you wanted to make. Now, with that, that sounds like a good exit strategy and good business plan, but that's not how all things happen. And so your exit strategy may need to be adjusted a little bit to make it work. So maybe you're going in for a refi, but it makes sense to sell a whole lot earlier than you were expecting. Or maybe it doesn't make sense to sell at the 7 year mark and you want to hold it a couple more years. just to get a little bit more equity into your pocket so that when you do sell, you can, well, hopefully more than break even, hopefully also get better returns than what you projected. But I know a lot of deals who are selling just because they didn't really have a choice, and that's upsetting. Also, foreclosure foreclosure should never be anyone's exit plan, but it does happen as an exit that is unforeseen and unexpected and unfortunate.
Absolutely. I mean, we've had to make a decision recently on a property, and we decided to list it and refi at the same time. And listing it, the numbers that we got were absolutely ridiculously low, so much so that they were offering less than what was owed on it, and we have appraisals that are showing us $2 million more than what's owed on it.
Yeah, and some of those offers came in at half the appraisal price, if I
Yeah,
recall.
it's like,
So
yeah, I mean, anybody can offer anything. Um, Craziness. We'll put it that way.
yeah. So
Um,
with
so
oh
with the traditional, like you said, exit strategies. So one is just the concept of the quick flip. I mean, what's the benefits of the quick flip? You get in and out, you have a certain time frame, you're trying to beat your high interest if you got if you got some kind of 12% interest rate or something, and you're fixing it up just enough that you can make a quick profit. There's
yeah,
pros and
quick
cons to that, obviously.
yeah. So a fix and flip, they are generally it's not passive income,
Nope.
so you don't get any of the passive income tax benefits. Um, it's usually, like we said earlier, less than 12 months, so you get capital gains taxes as well.
Short term. Yep, not long term.
Um, but it does put a chunk of change in your pocket that you wouldn't have had otherwise. And so,
It's funny you say that because some people that I hear in the industry, some gurus call it the chunker strategy.
well, I mean, it's a good way to get cash if you're strapped and you want to invest that in more long term. It's a good way to do that. I know a
Yeah, if
lot
you
of
find the
people.
right deal, timing's an issue. Having your numbers in the right realm is an issue. If you're doing a long-term hold and you make a mistake, sometimes time can heal all wounds. But if you're doing a quick flip, you might have some problems. And obviously, the transactional costs are higher because you're doing basically a purchase and a sale in the same year. You got fees and attorneys and everything else.
Yeah, and also going back to the wholesaling strategy, you can potentially have to pay capital gains on short term earnings as well.
Oh,
If you
definitely.
if you have a single closing, you don't have to because you can pass it on and the property is like never in your hands. But if you have two closings where you close with the seller and then you close with the buyer, then for that split second or however long it takes you at title, that's it's in your hands, and so you have to claim all of that on your taxes. So, and usually that could be a short time within a day or two, and then yeah, that's definitely
Yeah,
less
it's usually
than
within a day. I mean, the good news about wholesaling, if you can find the right deal, is that usually you don't have a lot of money involved up front.
you know,
And if you do something where you're putting down 1,000 or $5,000 and you're getting $15,000 back, you got a $10,000 profit, especially if you've put no other money in and you're not involved in the closing. You're just flipping the deed.
yeah. So I mean, there's pros and cons to all of them.
Absolutely.
There's it's all what you're comfortable with. I know people who want to wholesale all day long. That's what they know. That's what they do, and that's what they're going to continue doing. I know people who fix and flip all day long. That's what they know. That's what they do. They have systems in place so that they can get in and out quickly and move on to the next project. So, and then I know people who buy property and hold it for 20 years or longer. I have properties that I've been holding for over 20 years. And yeah, it's a slower play, um, but it builds up wealth, long term wealth that way.
Yep, slow and steady.
Yep.
There's been a lot of properties that we've wanted to hold long term, but then we felt that we were not getting a good enough return on equity. So then we would either 1031 to something new, or even just sell it, know that we're paying the taxes, and then looking for the next deal as well.
Yeah. And 1031 itself can be an exit strategy. Where you would sell a property and you can do a 1031 exchange, or you can take the proceeds from that sale and roll it over into a new property. And there are a lot of legal and accounting loopholes, or not loopholes, but hoops you have to jump through to get all of that to work right. And then if you can 1031, then you don't have to pay any capital gains taxes or anything. It's all deferred and it's pushed onto the next property.
Deferred, yes. Kick the can down the road.
So you keep kicking the can down the road. And now if you're 90 years old and you want to sell all your properties and give it to your kids, you're going to be paying buku taxes on everything because it starts from the original 1031 property, maybe happened 70 years ago to now when you're 90.
Or you
Um,
just or you just hold it and wait till something happens to you, and then your kids might be able to get a stepped up basis.
well, so the cool thing about the 1031 deferment is it dies with you. So if you pass on the property to your kids don't owe the taxes from 70 years ago. But if you sell it as a 90-year-old guy and you pass it on to your kids when you're 90, then you do have to pay all those back taxes or the deferred taxes that have been caught up.
We're
So,
definitely, no, I'm sure you've said this before, but we're definitely not experts, legal experts. We're not financial experts, anything else. One of the things that I've seen people hit with recently is, and every state's different, is the estate tax on those transfers.
yeah.
So,
So I know at this time, I believe the federal estate tax does not kick in until you have like a state worth like 6 or 10 million right now. I don't know what it
I
is right
I could
off
be
the
wrong. I
hand.
think it's a little higher than that, but I know that there are certain states. Rhode Island right now has the exclusion is 1.8 million, which sounds like a lot for some people, but if you've had a piece of property for a long time, I mean, I have properties that I bought for $25,000 that are now worth 350. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people think millionaire, they have $1 million in their bank account. It's generally a millionaire has $1 million piece of property that they didn't pay $1 million for. It just got higher and higher over time. So
right. There you go. Yeah.
appreciated over
Could,
time. So,
could be a 9 unit apartment building.
yeah. So, so yeah, the 1031 exchange does sound like a good benefit, but there are also a lot of cons. There are also a lot of downsides to it where you have limited time period to do it.
Oh, definitely. We have to name 3 properties within the next 7 days. So yeah, as the replacement properties.
Um, and if you don't find the properties, then you get kicked out and you end up paying whatever taxes you were going to pay. And I don't know if there's any fees or anything associated with a 1031, so you'd be out all those fees as well. I know
Absolutely.
you have to go through a qualified intermediary or something.
Yep.
So
The
so
fees would be typically 1 to 2 to 3,000 dollars.
so when you do it and you sell a property, say you buy it for 25,000, you sell it for 350, that 350 that you sold it for, you cannot touch your bank account. It has to go to somebody else, a third party, almost like an escrow account. And then whenever you buy the new property, it gets wired from that escrow or third party into wherever you're to the title that way, so that it never actually touches your hands. And that's how you can get around that. Um, so yeah, exit strategy, tax implications can be a potentially big hit. Like Frank said, we're not advisors, financial advisors, accountants, lawyers, or anything. So you need to talk to one that you work with. But long term capital gain generally lower than short term capital gains taxes. And long term is what, a year and a day? everything past a year and a day is long term, I think.
Pretty much.
And then you're like, well, what constitutes a year and a day? What if it's a leap year? That's an extra day. Does that how does that roll into everything? So that's why you need to talk to your accountant.
That's funny.
Let's see.
Well, just like 1031. By the way, for 1031, it doesn't always have to be a year and a day, and it's complicated. It has to do with intent. So if your intent has always been to buy it, flip it, sell it, you can't 1031 at all. But if your intent was to rent it, and by the way, a lot of qualified intermediaries don't care. They'll say, hey, listen, it has to be at least a year and a day. But nowhere in the 1031 rules does it actually give that year and a day of the concept of a timeline.
Yeah.
Some people just try to be more comfortable, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Less risky.
So, anything else on exit strategies?
I mean, when you buy a property, you might have a certain exit strategy, and that will change over time.
Yeah.
Um, you definitely have people that the neighborhood might change, or circumstances might change, what you consider as good profitability might change. There's reasons why your original business plan was as good as the day you wrote it. Just like when we talk about underwriting and budgets and everything else, they do change over time,
Yeah.
especially how you look at them.
Yeah. You can't be so rigid. Like, all right, well, this is what we planned for 5 years ago. We have to do that this way. Otherwise, the whole business plan goes to crap. So your business plan and your exit strategy should be somewhat fluid, but you still need to have a direction that you're aiming for.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. My mom had a vacant lot, never had a plan for it, never had an exit strategy for it. My grandparents picked it up like 40 years ago. They bought it for something cheap, like literally like $500. And the neighborhood's been using it for parking. My mom did not have insurance on it. I forced her to get insurance in case a tree fell on one of the cars. And in the end, I got her to sell it for $40,000. And while she was excited, because that is $40,000, I said, Mom, you just paid 40 years of taxes on this property, you know, and you had risk with no insurance for the longest time on it as well. So, I'm not saying it was also always a great deal.
That reminds me of I guess a house slash lot that Angel has. It was left to her by her uncle and grandfather. And we pay taxes on it every year, but the dwelling is not habitable, so we can't rent it out. I think she pays someone to mow it periodically, so we don't get fined by the city. And I think there actually may be squatters unless whoever mows it runs the squatters off. So I was like, we're paying all this every year. There's no exit strategy. We just continue doing it and probably will continue doing it into perpetuity. So I was like, we need an exit strategy on that. But I mean,
That probably
there's,
happens a lot when people get properties through someone's death.
I think so. And then with that, I was going to say there's sentimental value. It's like, well, if I sell it, then I'm selling away a piece of my grandfather and my uncle. And so I want to hold on to it. And then it's like, well, you have to weigh everything and see if it makes sense to do that. If you can do it and you want to keep it and you don't mind doing it, that's fine. But if it's causing a burden on you, then you may need to look into changing things up.
Without
So
naming the city, how far is that property away from where you guys live now?
3.5 hours.
All right, so there's enough. It's not like you're driving by it every day either.
Right, I'm not driving by it at all every day. It's been years since I've driven by it, actually.
Yeah. So I don't. I mean, I assume it's in Texas. I will say that I don't know what the rules and laws are for taking over a property that's abandoned. Even though you're paying the taxes, you might want to look at it and double check.
Yeah. Well, like I said, she has a property manager who goes by there periodically and mows it and stuff. So, um, by that regard, it's not I don't think technically abandoned, but I don't know.
I wonder if you could just put a cheap garage on it next to it, not worry about the house, and at least rent out the stalls or something.
Well, we've thought about building up like a quadplex or something, or a triplex. But yeah, nothing's happening. And it's hard to get a developer there that we like and trust. So,
All right, well, tell you what, I will reach out to Angel and push the envelope slightly.
all right.
But that's all I got on this conversation. Exit strategies. We all need them. We all don't do a good job of having them.
Yeah, just keep in mind what your intention is for this project you're working on, the property you're buying, what's the intention, what's the purpose, what do you expect to get out of it, and then go for that goal as best as you can, and then make sure your plans change so long as situations change. So if you have any suggestions for exit strategies or any stories that y'all want to talk about, drop them in the comments below or email me. You can find me at ironcladunderwriting.com or on LinkedIn. Frank's on LinkedIn and Facebook.
Absolutely.
And so we love to hear. We also want to hear who else is listening to this podcast, and that always makes me feel good too. So, all right. Well, we'll catch you next time. Bye. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Ironclad Underwriting Podcast. If you got value from today's conversation, make sure to subscribe, rate, and share the show. And don't forget to connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or check us out at our website at ironcladunderwriting.com for more insights and updates. If you have a question, a deal you're analyzing, or a topic you want us to tackle, shoot us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep your assumptions grounded, your models sharp, and your underwriting ironclad.